AJ, it's over. It's over. I'm going to help you out here, Russ,
like
and just be very direct.
If Shohei didn't play another game, he's the AL MVP to me, in my opinion. I think we've seen that much. And I'm okay with people. I'm okay with people disagreeing with me on that. But you're seeing a guy who carried the Angels all year long, right? By himself,
fourth place.
And we got to hit it because Aaron Nola is waiting for us. So to be continued, okay? Russ, we'll see you later this week, okay? We'll see you later this week. Just there you go, AJ. That's your MVP right there.
Showtime.
Okay, he's showing the book of Showtime for the podcast crowd. Let's hit a break and tell you about our poll question. QR code on your screen or watchstadium.com/foul territory. When you think of Philadelphia, what do you think of? A, Philly fanatic, B, cheesesteaks, C, crazy fans, D, Rocky. Think about it. We'll be joined by Phillies pitcher Aaron Nola right here in Philadelphia coming up next on Stadium.
Have you been at second base long enough now that you're like, I'm good here? Like, I really like second base.
I mean, I really like second base, but I really like shortstop. So I just take a lot of pride of play defense. It's just fun for me play defense. You know, I had the opportunity to be in the shortstop on WBC, and I was kind of like, if I want to play shortstop again, I have to, be on the whole off season working for. It's not an easy thing to play second and then play shortstop.
How much work is that? Take us through that, because there's been some other players that have left organizations. They were playing shortstop. I try to explain it from a catcher's point of view, but a big league shortstop is way different than a guy who can play shortstop every other day or like twice a week. How much of a difference is that?
Yeah, it's different. It's totally different. Moving from shortstop to second, that second from short. Because in seconds, you have to chance just to stop the ball and then make a good throw. On shortstop, you cannot stop moving. You have to be on rhythm the whole time because it's longer distance.
And is that what you would work on in the off season? That rhythm and that
I mean, if the opportunity is there and and I want to do it, I have to put a lot of work in the off season on that, on getting my rhythm back from shortstop to first, and it needs a longer throw every single time. So prepare my arm to those, for those throws and just get my rhythm back. And I feel like the games are gonna give you that.
And now back to foul territory.
Back on FT, Braun, Przynski, Kratz next to me, and Aaron Nola next to him, joining us from Philadelphia. Aaron, how you doing, man? Good to see you in person.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for finally having me on.
Great to have you. Yeah, last time we had Aaron, he was like going through the tunnels and trying to find service. We're like, all right, screw it. We're going to come here in person and do the conversation here. So first off, coming off a great outing from the weekend, how'd it go?
Good. Felt pretty good yesterday. Good sweep for the guys. It was big. We got the Angels coming up this series for the next 3 days, so those are big games for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were nasty.
I appreciate it.
Shocker. It's the end of August going into September here. You guys are in freaking playoff mode again.
Yeah, we got that itch. I think the fans got the itch too. The stadium's getting crowded. I mean, it's been pretty packed all season, which is awesome. I feel like we can feel that energy going into September right now, just kind of what happened last year, and it makes the games a lot more fun, right? Especially, I mean, when you've been in playoffs, it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different energy level the guys get, and then once we roll in September, it's like the last month going in trying to make postseason. So that's the fun part about it, man. That's what we play for, and so we always train for.
You train for it and everything, but like, dude, you were here forever. Like, we played together in 15. I think you had like 13 or 14 starts. Sometimes that thing pops out, no biggie. Your rookie year, did you think it was going to take you this long to finally pitch in the playoffs last year?
I tell you, being here since 15 and going through the rebuild process and the struggles, that we went through, it made it a lot sweeter get to the World Series last year. It made me appreciate things a lot more, and I feel like once 18 hit, we kind of made a little step, and then 19 hit, we signed Bryce and JT, and we took another step, and then 20. Everybody, we know what happened in 20, so that was kind of a wash or whatever. So 21, we took another step, and then last year we really took that step. So we all saw it coming, all the signings that were being made, and we just had to put it together, and we did it last year. So we got a better team this year, what we think. So we're definitely looking forward to this end of the stretch and going into October. This thing keeps popping out, man.
No, you're good. You're
might
good.
have a lot of earwax.
I still haven't figured it out. Mine keeps popping out.
I'm just going to keep it out. If that's
you
good.
just keep it out. If AJ asks you a question, we'll tell you to put it in.
Okay.
Przinski's on there, but
Okay.
he's kind of he's here for the ride.
He's long distance.
He's a backup catcher today.
Well, okay, so I want to ask you, and I'm sure AJ would love to hear about this, your thoughts on a statement from our teammate Ken Rosenthal recently, who said Philly fans are getting soft. And he said that because they're so hardcore for so many years. And for example, one of your new teammates, Trea Turner, was going through it a little bit. Now he's hitting his stride. And the way that the crowd reacted during that time period, we gave a lot of attention to and applauded it because at times Philly fans can be harsh. And the Northeast in general will get after you if you're a new player, if you're a player that's struggling. Even if in New York you're Aaron Judge and you have like one bad game in the playoffs and then they're like, forget everything. So what was that like? And do you think that Philly fans are kind of getting a little more family oriented and a little sweeter to the Phillies?
I didn't hear that comment that they were getting soft.
And he said it like half joking.
It was,
I mean, I always said, especially after last year, I'd rather have a fan base like this than a fan base that doesn't care, right? You know, if you're doing not what you're supposed to be doing and you're not living up to your expectations. They have expectations, right? We also have expectations. I think it's good to have that. And they let you know when you're not doing well, and they also let you know when you are doing well. So to have a fan base that's passionate, I'd rather, at the end of my career, I'd rather look back and say, I'm glad and I was lucky to play in front of a fan base like this than a fan base that didn't care or was quiet. Because we've been to stadiums that have been like that.
Oh yeah,
and
you want
coming here. I tell you this, coming here in the playoffs, we heard it all the time. Like being here in 15 and stuff like that, going through the rebuild. They're like, oh, just get to the playoffs and you'll hear it. You're like, I'm so tired of hearing that. Like obviously we're trying to get to the playoffs, but getting there last year and seeing this crowd, it was immaculate.
More than you expected, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. Going to even the places in the playoffs that we went to play at, it doesn't compare to Citizens Bank.
You had to wait a long time to get it, but you finally experienced it. And we're kind of talking about this with the second best pitcher going into the free agent market and Shohei. Like if they had, you're the first best if you didn't figure that out. But does this last 2 years, does it spark a different light for you? Here, like seeing what you went through and then finally getting there. And now, obviously, we don't know what this year holds, but you guys are rounding out to be an absolute beast again in the playoffs. Does it spark something different?
Yeah, I would think the only people that believed we were going to get to the World Series was us last year, right? And we have really good players, strong division, obviously, and I don't think anybody thought we were going to be where we were at and finish where we're at. But we knew because our chemistry is really good and our clubhouse is solid. Guys on the team play really well together. The guys that come up from AAA get traded over, they fit right in, and we welcome them right in. And I think that plays a really big part. I think that's overlooked a little bit nowadays is camaraderie and chemistry. Kratz, you probably know better than anybody. One of the better team guys that I've ever played with, and I didn't even play with him that long. So that's definitely overlooked. I feel like it goes a long way. Chemistry in a clubhouse and camaraderie with guys and guys getting along and playing hard with each other. It's overlooked.
Who builds that? Because you and Reese were here, and now Reese is down this year, and you guys seem like you have that again. You bring.
I think Schwarber coming in last year was our piece, man. He He's the
not
guy.
just the homers. You're saying,
Yeah.
Again, the
Not just the
clubhouse,
homers.
like, what does he do though?
Yeah.
Because guys talk about that a lot. Like, can you give me a recent example in the past like week or two where you're like, oh, that's Schwarber kind of bringing the crew together?
Well, I mean, he's the guy on the mic and on the bus, which is a huge part. Kratzy was that.
That's electric for me.
Yeah, Schwarber's electric, man. He's a guy that he plays every single day. It doesn't matter. He's doing good or doing bad. He's playing every day. He comes in. If he gets out, he stands on the top step, makes fun of himself sometimes. Doesn't really complain at all. I've never really heard the dude complain at all. And cheers for his teammates when he gets out. He knows he's going to get up again, right? And see what he's done, right? So many RBIs at a leadoff spot and all the homers he hits in big situations. And it's impressive to see for me, because to see a guy like his caliber not complain or, like throw his stuff, he gets out, goes back on the bench, and, sometimes like, God, that guy got me, or I just missed that, or, Trey, let's go, something like that. It's something easy like that. It goes a long way for guys on the team, especially young guys, to see that kind of stuff.
Does he joke about how, especially the last few years, he just lights up after a couple months of the season? He's like, screw a little slump in the beginning of the season. I'm going to get all my numbers the last 3.5 months of the year.
Once June hits, once June hits, then he rolls with it to the end of the year.
Is he cold here? It's like literally
April and May.
Yeah,
I mean, April can be coldish.
Oh, is it cold here? Yeah, it gets cold.
Yeah.
It's cold-ish.
But sometimes the guys like in the Midwest, right? Like you play for the Twins, and I talked to some guys.
That's
I'm like,
cold.
hey, what happened in April?
Cold.
They were like, it was 10 degrees every day.
Yeah. No, you're grinding.
It gets cold. I mean, you have your days at nights where it's really, really windy. The days aren't as bad, but
you want more day games in April.
Yeah, you want more day games in April. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you do. You're out there long sleeves anyway, just slinging the rock.
Yeah. Are you long sleeves even if it's hot?
No. Just during the cold. The pitchers probably are warmest on the field, right?
Catcher
too.
Yeah, I always sweat. I'm sweating right now.
Yeah,
sitting next to you. What is one good story you can tell us from the mic that Schwarber, or like a thing that Schwarber does that you're like, oh man, I hope this rookie comes up and screws this up? Or because actually one of the questions I'm gonna ask Trey, because I heard a secondhand story about when Trey was a rookie on the mic about what he did, because that there's some rookies that are just epic on the mic. Or does he call up other guys besides rookies?
He calls up other guys, like the guys that are new, just to get to know them.
Right.
Guys who get traded over or that we signed this year at the beginning of the year.
Did Trey do anything epic on the mic when you guys first?
Dude, I don't
beginning
remember.
Of the season? You don't remember?
It was probably beginning of the season.
Okay.
Trey was up there. You have to ask him. Trey's got a bunch of good stories, man. I can't think of one in particular, but you know how the mic stuff goes a little bit. I don't know if I want to say anything on here.
No, for sure. My go-to was always when we play the Giants. I would go in there and just make sure the guys knew that we're playing San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants, but they're just regular-sized people. So don't get nervous. And it really helped the guys. We always beat the Giants.
That was your dad joke?
That was my dad joke.
That's good.
But sometimes it can be intimidating. You've never been to the big leagues. You think they're San Francisco Giants, like they're just regular size.
Like you come from small town America.
Right.
You don't know.
Like you think alligators, you could just pick alligators in Florida.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was from another Thursday.
It's not that much of an inside joke. I can tell them we had some Yankees minor leaguers on the other day on our show, and one guy was like, "Oh, in Florida, I heard you can just pick up gators off the street and sell them." We're like, "That's definitely not a thing."
I don't know about selling, but you can pick them up.
You can pick them up. You can pick them up, but then back down. And also, good luck picking them up. They're gonna be a little pissed off if you do.
He's an outdoor guy. Tell us what you got. Any trips planned this off season?
Yeah, we're gonna try to go to.
This is your thing.
Yeah,
you're an absolute outdoorsman.
Yeah, I like the outdoors. We bought a van in 2020.
It's awesome.
Sprinter van. So it's done. We built it out, so it's done. But I'm getting a couple more things in it. So a couple more upholstery, couple seats and stuff like that. I won't go too in detail of that, but we tried to go last year after the season, but World Series, and we both got sick. So my wife and I both got sick. So we kind of trekked back down south and took our time, but we want to go out to Montana. I think my brother was buying a house in Whitefish, Montana. So we're gonna go out there, drive from here out there, and then we want to go to Durango, Colorado. My wife's best friend works out there, and then we definitely want to go down to the PCH. So I don't want to take that drive down there. I heard it's pretty cool, so we want to put some miles on the van, and we got 2 dogs, so they like it too.
Nice. Would you ever live out of it during the season, even for a short period of time? I ask that because I'm learning there are more and more players that are more living out of trailers than sprinters. But like we just learned that Andrew Chafin's lived in his trailer for like a season at a time at times.
Yeah, well, if it was just me,
yeah,
yeah, I could for sure. I think with the wife and dogs, I don't know if she'd be too up to it for a season.
That's fair.
I mean, this is a camper van. It's not like I don't have air conditioning in it besides when you turn the car on. So I just have like 2 fans. So it gets pretty hot. It's pretty hot and gets pretty cold. So I don't know why I didn't think of this when I just came up.
Oh, to get something like that for the off season. Yeah,
or just
got a little more
because when you get back from road trips, you get back at like 2-3 a.m. Park that thing up top on the garage. You just go sleep in it.
If it's a summer, park down below.
Yeah,
or it might be too high for.
Yeah, it's too high. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I want to ask you about your brother. How's things going for him? Because it's been a freaking disappointing season.
Yeah.
In San Diego.
Yeah. Well, he got sent down right after we played them over here, and then he was getting some concussion tests done the last time I talked to him because he said he wasn't right because he got hit in the face in spring training. That time when he got hit right there when he was hitting. So
that's right.
Yeah, so he said he came back a little too early and he wasn't really seeing the ball right. Still kind of waking up with headaches and stuff like that. So I think he had a little bit of a post-concussion syndrome type of thing.
And sometimes it takes a while. I remember this story in New York. Like Rizzo was playing for a while, and
so
he
I
wasn't
think that's
hitting.
That's how he kind of found out because when Rizzo went on the DL, I think he went on.
Yeah, they put him on. Suddenly, like he's like, "Hey, I'm getting dizzy."
Yeah,
and all
so
that.
Austin saw that and was like, "I might need to go get some more tests done."
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, well, dude, hopefully we'll see you in the playoffs again and the whole
man.
deal. Good to see you.
Yeah,
appreciate
it,
the time, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Glad we saw you in person this time.
Glad I got to get on here.
Yeah,
you don't need any Wi-Fi when you're here live.
Yeah, you're right.
No, exactly. We bring the show here. We'll be right back with Aaron's teammate, Trea Turner, on Stadium. FT Live continues.
Talking about numbers, the pitch clock, you feel like it's kind of like settled down and there's not many issues, and yet we see the biggest star go down with a Tommy John injury, UCL tear. Are we going to see it in a few years that there could be some injury issues, and some pitchers are attributed to the pitch clock?
And I'll just add one quick thing too, Ken, is that Ohtani pitched slow as hell and he sped it up. So I didn't think you were going to go that route and Ken, I know you wrote about this in the Daily Windup in the Athletic this morning, but that's a good call.
It is a good question, and I didn't mention this when I wrote what I did today. There has been that fear all along that injuries could increase because of the pitch clock. However, I would suggest that while we don't have any data yet along these lines, we can't say for sure if Ohtani's injury or any other pitcher's injury resulted from the quicker pace. It's not like pitchers just started getting hurt, Eric. My goodness, pitchers get hurt all the time. Clock, no clock. And it's been really the scourge of the sport, the biggest problem in the sport, in my opinion, for quite some time. We cannot keep these guys healthy. But from the perspective that I wrote about, just the success of the clock and the adjustment of the players to the clock, month by month, you've seen the rate of violations go down, and it's almost down to nothing. It's down for the season to 0.5 violations per game. That's really minuscule. And the reason I even looked into this was because I still see violations watching games, and I wondered, what the heck is going on? Why are players not getting this? But they are getting it. And you have to look at the aggregate and just the whole picture. And yes, they are getting it, and it's been a success without doubt in terms of reducing the time of games, increasing the pace, which is what baseball desired. These are all good things. And with the injury question, sure, you can point perhaps to some of these things, these the clock, whatever else, as factors that weren't there before and are there now. But I don't know that I buy it, man, because the injury rate is just what it is, and it's something that pitchers have been unable to avoid for quite some time.
And now, back to foul territory.
Back on FT, closing up the poll. So when you think Philly, apparently people think crazy fans. That's winning by far.
I mean, cheesesteak or Philly fanatic. I mean, if you said Philly baseball, like
there's other crazy fans too, but whatever, you do you. It's fine.
Know.
We gotta hurry it up because we're gonna have Trea Turner joining us soon, and AJ is just on fire right now. So let's do our Bet MGM locks as we look back to Friday. AJ wasn't here, so we look at an L for Kratz and myself. I did win. I just was an idiot and went with the run line. Whatever, it happens.
Whatever.
Who screwed you?
Gray got four punchies.
Yeah.
It's the third time all season he's gone under 5.
It happens. All right, so there's money bags. We're all, or not all. AJ, we need you to pick it up. We need one of those days where you just say, you know what, I'm really feeling this for my lock. But
yeah,
let's do our Bet MGM locks for Monday. AJ, you start us off because
I'm going Twins Guardians game, same game parlay, and I'm going Maeda 4+ strikeouts and Xavier Curry, who doesn't strike out a lot of guys, only 3. It's -115, but here's a key stat for you guys. The Twins lead the league in strikeouts as hitters and striking out the most guys as pitchers. So they do a lot of striking out during games. So I feel like Curry can find 3 in Maeda. He usually strikes out a guy an inning.
You've been picking on the Twins with the Ks, which I think is great. I mean, you've picked up on that trend, and it has not really wavered, even as their offense has been much better in the second half.
Like I just said, they strike out the most as hitters, and they strike out the most opposing hitters. And that doesn't happen very often, and the Twins are great at striking out and getting strikeouts, so ride the Twins while they're hot striking out.
I'll go with the Rangers money line to take down the Mets tonight. McGill's just been okay for the Mets. I mean, I would say he's been bad. Doesn't give them much length, almost always giving up runs, just hasn't panned out like he went before he had the big injury a couple of years ago. The Rangers are coming off just a brutal 10 days now where they've lost 9 of 10. They've only picked up 1 dub during that stretch. I just think they're better than that. They're going to come in, take on a Mets team that I think scored 7 runs over the whole weekend against the Angels, and John Gray also has to have 3 Ks plus in that game. That's my little same game parlay at -125. And he's hit that in just about every start this year, including, I think, all of his last 7. AJ, what's wrong with the Rangers?
You better hope John Gray goes 9 innings, because if they go into that bullpen for the Rangers, look out, baby.
What's wrong with Aroldis Chapman? He's been one of the best relievers in baseball. Non-save situation.
Have you not seen his numbers in save situations?
Non-save situation. They're going to be up 5-1. That's a non-save situation.
Okay. All right. But, I mean, Will Smith is tired now. I mean, his numbers are down. I mean, everyone they bring in, they use their whole bullpen yesterday, too. So let's not forget they went 13 innings yesterday. Used Chapman, used Smith, used Sabors. They used everybody. They brought in Hernandez at the end, right? And he walked in the running run. I mean, the bullpen, and you talk to Bruce Bochy, he hates the 3-batter minimum rule, and it's because he can't use bullpens the way he was used to. There was never a better manager that could manipulate the other team's bench with their bullpen the way Bruce Bochy could, and he doesn't have that luxury anymore. So just be careful with the Rangers, because the game they won was the game I did on Saturday, and Scherzer went 7 innings, only gave up 2 runs, and they needed the Twins to walk in 4 runs for them to win that game. So their offense is not looking good, and their bullpen is in shambles.
Wow, AJ is fading me harder than ever this year.
I'm just giving you facts.
No, you've got better insight.
I love giving you facts.
Dude, you're on the scene. I like it.
I have them on Saturday again. Listen, I want the Rangers, Astros, and Mariners to come down to the last day of the year and just have a battle, right? But, I mean, there is a thing we talked about earlier with Russ Dorsey. When you're the Rangers and you've been in first place for months, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, wait, they just blew past us? There is a mental thing that kicks in. Right? And they need guys to get back. They need Young back. Jonah Heim's finally back. But they need somebody in the bullpen to step up. And as you said, if you look at Chapman's save numbers, save situation, they ain't good.
Are the Rangers going to miss the playoffs?
I want to say no. I think they won't. I think they'll squeak in as a wild card. But I just don't see them winning the division with the way they're leaking oil right now.
Okay. What's your pick?
Leaking oil. I'm flustered here, but I'm going to go with Giolito versus Walker, game that's about to happen here, 7:05 tonight. Both get 4 strikeouts, both giving me a walk. for plus 100.
Oh, nice.
I like the
You
numbers.
sneak in your little walk action.
I love it when
Have
guys
you gotten burned on it yet?
Not yet this year.
Really? Okay.
I go by the numbers.
Someone's gonna get you.
Someone will get me. That's fair.
Just
Someone
not
will have
miss
a good
the zone and be like, screw that.
They're going to walk Shohei, so it's either that or Shohei is going to hit a dinger.
Right. That's the guy actually you look at because Trout's back on the IL, and you're like, maybe they avoid him a little bit. Anyway, a swing for the fences is still on the Bet MGM sports app on iOS or Android. You log in, play the Bet MGM MLB free-to-play game, and depending on an area of the zone, like a double or a homer or a pop-out is a result you could get, and you receive the prize associated with that type of hit. Play once a day. Prizing must be used on MLB and expires in 24 hours. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And Trea Turner joining us quite soon here. He is on his way.
Super soon.
We will do you have a home run lock?
Yeah.
We throw one in there. You got
everybody with the Braves. I'm going Acuna. They're going into Colorado. They hit the ball in the air. The ball's not going to be spinning. I wish I could do a team prop of 3+ homers because I think the Braves are going to get 3+ against Gomber tonight.
So Acuna's plus 300.
I'm taking it just because Olsen's plus 220. That's crazy.
That makes it.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's why I didn't pick Olsen.
It.
No, I like Acuna with the plus 300.
Also, Acuna probably checking out some social media over the weekend because I know he's looking and seeing people go, hold up. Is Freddie Freeman or Mookie Betts or maybe even Matt Olson about to win this MVP that Acuna apparently had locked up for a while as long as he was staying on the field, and he is staying on the field? He's going to be like, hold up.
Hold up.
I think he's going to have a big-ass series. So I'm with you there. All right, we're going to step aside here. We'll get ready for Trea Turner joining us in just a sec as we continue our coverage from Philadelphia today. FT Live taking over Citizens Bank Park. Hey, I want to finish with this because we're actually in South Jersey, so this crowd needs to hear about this regardless. But you've got a little tailgate action going on with a big celebrity in this state, and it's all for a great cause. There it is.
Yeah.
Give us the details of how this came together.
Yeah, so Christian and I are both very big. So we started watching Jersey Shore back in the day. As soon as I got diagnosed, as soon as I was healthy, we were thinking about ideas of look, what can we do in the South Side? What can we do to make an event? What can we do to raise awareness? And we know that Paulie D has done a lot with Be the Match, which is one of the nation's leading bone marrow and transplantation kind of organizations. So we had reached out, and I mean, I don't even think it got to be 2 hours before he'd reached back out and said, absolutely, I'm in. And so we set up September 15th out in Chicago. So he's going to come out. All donations will go to Be the Match. They're going to be giving out swabs where you can get checked to see if you're a match for anybody who's currently going through or needs bone marrow transplant, who's currently going through any sort of cancer diagnosis. And that's something, because this is something that they had mentioned that potentially maybe in my future, depending on if it comes back and all this sort of stuff. So this is something that's near and dear to both Chris and I's hearts. But yeah, he reached out straight away, and I mean, I am pumped to say the least. I mean, you see, and look, it's like my progression you were talking about, Eric. It's watching the progression of DJ Paulie D from Jersey Shore season 1 to where they're at now. It's been a thrill ride. So I'm super excited to get a chance to hopefully to meet him and be a part of the situation. But more importantly, just so excited to be able to kind of partner with such a guy in an event that he does a lot for in the community and really put our best foot forward and hopefully raise a ton of money, a ton of awareness, and hopefully, honestly, get a couple people swabbed that then think about donating their bone marrow to save someone's life. Because that's at the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to save lives out here.
And now back to foul territory.
back on FT Live, and we found Trea Turner from the Philadelphia Phillies joining us with Kratz and Brzezinski on Braun. Trea, great to see you, man. And how's life so far in Philadelphia?
It's been a little bit crazy, a lot of ups and downs in the first year, but we're playing some good baseball, and it's been a lot of fun. I knew when I signed here, the group was awesome, and it's been really enjoyable, and just getting used to it, and trying to make a push for the postseason.
11 years.
Yeah, it's a long
Did
time.
you know when you're going to free agency, you're
No.
like, dude, I'd love to get 11 years.
No.
Holy cow, dude. That's so long.
It's funny is my agent always told me the market tells you what you're worth. So you could think you're worth this many years, this much money, but at the end of the day, somebody kind of decides what you're worth. So I had a couple options in front of me and try to make the best decision I could. And, we're really happy with it. Me and my family are excited to be here, and it's been a great year.
If you had to guess, what was the number you thought years-wise?
I thought I would get at least 8. I
Okay.
thought I could maybe get a little bit higher than that. I didn't necessarily think 10 or 11. I thought I could get 8 or 9. I didn't think 10 or 11 was necessarily there. But, it's about being able to work within the salary cap and put a good team out on the field. So try to get creative and remember it's a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be better? I'm going to move your wire here.
Yeah.
So it's over.
Let's do it.
Big show.
Look at Kratzy now.
Look at that. That's
a few
so
months
pro.
into doing this, and now
That's so pro.
now he's a true TV guy.
So who's going to be better at the end of your contracts? You or Bryce? And is there a little cash on the table, like, dude, to keep you guys hungry? See who's going to be better.
Yeah, I think we're pretty competitive. I told him the other day. I said you're going to have to share that DH with me a little bit towards the end. But
my goodness,
I think we're both athletic enough to be really good for a long time. So. He might have me on some homers, but I'll probably have him on some other categories. So it's going to be fun playing alongside of him. I got a chance to play with him early in my career, obviously. Now it's been fun having him back and there every day after the injury last year. But I think I have a year or two more than him. So he might have to sign an extension.
So he would have he would have to extend.
Yeah. Yep.
When I was with the Giants, I remember Buster Posey would looked at Longoria and he was like, dude, seriously, you still got 5 more years?
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen.
It's going to be a long one, but like I said, I think we're excited about it. We're ready for it. We know what we signed up for. I think our families might be in for it a little bit more than us. So it's more dealing with our wives and our kids and tell them, hey, we got to go to work every day. But we love playing baseball. We love being here.
Now remind me, you have 2 daughters?
I have 1 boy and then another boy on the way.
Congrats.
And maybe 10 days, we'll have a second one here. So
wow. So you're on high alert.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're only keeping you for a little bit.
Yeah, after this, I think we go on a road trip, and after the road trip, any second. So
anytime. I mean, he's going to almost be learning to drive here.
Oh, yeah.
You want him to drive in this city?
You got it's here or Florida.
No, not Florida.
There's crazy people everywhere.
Yeah.
So crazy drivers everywhere. So you got to get used to it. And he's going to have fun with it.
You're good. You're good without that because just in case it pops out.
I don't want to.
It pops out for everybody.
TV pro.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
What was the best recruiting pitch that you got to be here? Was it from Bryce? Was there a certain line? Was there a certain dinner? Give me something.
No, for me, I think everybody wants one thing that sticks out, right? For me, it's a big picture, and meeting with Dave and Sam, and then Rob at my house in the off season, meet with them. The meeting was great. I knew the guys here, JT, Schwartz, Bryce. I knew a lot of the guys that love competing against Nola and Wheeler and Reese and some guys that I didn't know, but it's just a good group. And then a little bit closer to home. It's just a little bit of everything added up. Bryce is great. He texted me early on, if you need to know anything, let me know. Had my questions here or there, but I think it just all stars, aligned to here, and we're really excited about it.
Do you guys ever talk about how you could be doing this in DC? Like, let's say they came to you early on in your career and they threw a ton of money at you. It's hard to turn down for some of those guys. Like Atlanta's done that to a T. DC didn't, but now they're actually starting to pick it up on the rebuild pretty quickly.
Yeah. I say it all the time. It's I don't think teams and fans and everyone knows that players kind of love where they grow up, and that first team feels like home. And, maybe you think the grass is greener on the other side, but like you get a good offer and you say, I like it here, might as well stay. And, you're happy with it. So Depends where the team's at, where you're at in your life, and all those things. But yeah, I mean, I loved, I talked about I loved Washington early on, and that I think could have happened where we could have locked some guys up early, and things would have been different. But it works out, how it works out, and I think it's worked out really well for a lot of us. Not just myself, but got a chance to win there and win the championship, and then move on, and I think it's been great for me in my career.
So San Diego feels like home, since that was technically.
Well, when I got drafted, I said this a lot too. When I got drafted, I thought I was going to play for San Diego my whole entire career. I think when you're young, you just kind of think you're going to be in one spot, and then almost never the case. I would say 99% of the time it's not the case. So, but yeah, I thought San Diego would be home for a while, and then I got traded immediately. But that's the business side; you get used to it real quick.
You have to. No, you have to get used to it.
Yeah,
it's freaking.
It
sucks,
cutthroat,
but
yeah.
Especially you were 21. I remember you rushed to AAA, and you were freaking smashing in AAA.
But wasn't that actually where you were were you the guy, the player to be named later? And then you knew you were gone, but you weren't. And then they made the switch right after that. It was super awkward.
So yeah, somebody said my name. I was supposed to be a player to be named later, but somebody said my name, so my name was out there immediately, and I had to stay there for 6 more months or 8 more months. And the Padres treated me great, and the coaching staff in AA was unbelievable. Helped me out, worked with me like I was going to be there, and then that date hit, and they're just like, "All right, see you later." So it's like weird knowing you're going to get traded months and months before. It's like, what do? Do you try, do not try? And so,
senioritis.
Yeah. Like it's just an awkward situation, but like I said, they treated me great over there, and I wanted to obviously make the big league, so I worked hard and try to learn the game and develop and do all those things.
So I'm about 45 minutes north of stadium here. Jack Fritz, I'm sure you've gotten a million questions about the ovation.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you fixed something with your swing before the ovation. It's not the ovation.
No, I honestly feel like the ovation, I didn't feel great in the box the first day. The second day I started to feel better, and I started making adjustments. But when combination of the ovation and just being able to relax in the box and go for one and don't feel like it's the end of the world and make those adjustments and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of things, but I think the ovation definitely started it and kind of got me to calm down for a second, and then I could make those adjustments, and I feel better. And since then it's been awesome.
I know you got shit to get to. We got to jump for end of show, but dude, how about this? Appreciate you coming here. Go win a World Series, and then we'll get you for longer in the offseason. Deal?
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Okay, perfect. Good negotiations. All right, that's it for us on Stadium. We're back on FT Live on our YouTube channel in a minute.
So I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Hour 2 of FT Live. We are in Philadelphia. Braun, Kratz, and Przinski holding down Florida right now. I'm excited for a big hour number 2, and it's been a fun ride here so far in Philadelphia. What's cool is we were just finishing up our conversation with Trey, and AJ said he's seeing our stuff all over socials, and he was like, "You guys hitting every ballpark?" I'm like, "Oh, I would love to." The problem is it's already late August, so let's plan on that next year. Okay. I'll talk to your secretary and see if we can get you on the road for like a full month.
AJ, I'll go to Tampa. You get all the others. You can go to Miami.
I travel enough. I don't think I need to add anything to it.
Fair. That's fair. Cool. But we'll keep that in mind. We'll table that discussion. Okay.
Hey, you guys are great on the road. I like it when you guys are on the road.
Of course you do. You like being alone there?
You don't like being alone.
No,
you're not an introvert. You need people around you.
I don't. That's where you're wrong, because I'm an only child, so I am perfectly happy by myself.
You like your Legos. He likes his Legos.
No, I just like when I go this weekend for Fox to Dallas. I was just in Minnesota. Yep. I am perfectly content sitting in my room by myself, doing nothing. I don't need people. I order Uber Eats or I'll order DoorDash or something, room service, and not talk to anybody and be perfectly fine with it. I don't need people.
I'm pretty good on that front too. All right, so let's hit hot corner then, and maybe I'll try and convince you why you should be here right now. This quote from Mike Trout. The wait is over. Excited to share the latest from Trout National, the reserve. We're finalizing course routing and are continuing to make progress on this unique and exciting project. We're getting a little video if you're watching the YouTube version of this right now on Foul Territory's YouTube channel. Is that a casual Tiger Woods hug and hangout? Yes, it is. Because it's Tiger's team that's putting the course together, right?
It is.
Okay, cool. Great. So,
but he's getting help from Mike.
Who? Tiger. Yeah, of course.
Can't do it without Mike.
I understand. And for Mike, I'll just say I don't really care that much. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome that he's got this being put together. I'm not a golfer, so for me, I'm just like, fuck. They traded away the little prospects they had. You better really enjoy this. Obviously, Mike's got it good. He's a legend. He's got a big-ass contract. But let's be real. Like, AJ, imagine if you were him, if we're going to have some pity for a person who has definitely been blessed with great ability, he's probably not going to get much playoff baseball in his career unless they decide to trade him, which is complicated, and I highly doubt it.
Okay. I had this conversation past weekend with, I'm not going to say who, but a prominent baseball figure. If you're Mike Trout and Ohtani doesn't come back, or you're Mike Trout and you're pretty sure Ohtani's not coming back, why don't you call Artie Moreno the day the season ends? What is it, October 1st the season ends? And you go to him, you say, let's have lunch, let's have dinner, get coffee. You sit down and you say, look, Artie, I've been here for 12 years now? We made the playoffs one time, never won a playoff game. It's time. It's time. You can get a haul for me, trade me. I'll help you rebuild the organization for the future, and I got a chance to win. What is Artie Moreno going to say? You don't have to make it public. You don't have to make a spectacle of it. Now, if Artie Moreno looks you in the face and says, no, Mike, we're not doing that, then maybe you go public with it and say, look, I'd love to be traded. I'd love to move somewhere I have a chance to win. But there's a right way to handle this if you're Mike Trout and you say, let's have lunch, Artie. Let's sit down and figure this out, and I can help the organization for the next 10 years by you trading me somewhere else where I have a chance to win, and I can help the Angels, and I can help myself.
He said, what does he say?
Wait, are you doing role play? I just want to clarify. Are you taking my job? Because
I should have role played as these are my ownership glasses, because we're somewhere swanky in California.
Yeah. And all right, Artie, what do you got?
No. All right. Anything else?
Oh, wait, Can I take him? Hold on. I'm his family member. No, AJ, because you're a legend. I want you in this uniform for your whole career. I'll say a bunch of other things, but really, most importantly, I'm going to probably sell this team at some point. And even if I don't, I'm making moolah off of you, especially while we suck. And if I do sell this team at some point, I think it has more value with a star asset like yourself. So
it doesn't.
Respectfully, no, it doesn't. You might be right. You might be right, because today's team.
I'm telling you, it doesn't, because teams, when they sell, they'd rather have blank books. They'd rather have guys off the books and have a cheap team. Look at what the Nationals did. That was the whole point of them trying to sell.
Though, AJ, no, but they made an offer to Juan, and it would have been for $500 million, and then they would have tried to sell.
I understand that, but now that they don't. Here's the thing: if you're Mike Trout and Artie Moreno looks at you and goes no, then guess what I do? I call my agent, and I'm Mike Trout's agent. Mm-hmm. Hey, Bob Nightingale, Ken Rosenthal. Mike Trout hates it in Anaheim. He wants to be traded. Put that everywhere. Thank you. Click. And guess what Artie Moreno has to do? Answer the questions why he won't trade Mike Trout and help the franchise. Mike Trout has all the power right now, as far as I'm concerned, because he can go to Artie Moreno. He won't ever do it because he's too nice of a guy and he's too locked into Anaheim. He lives in Newport. Listen, he lives in Newport Coast and he's got that house on the beach and the whole deal. I get it. This is just a hypothetical. If he did it, though, think of the shockwaves he would cause throughout Major League Baseball.
I'm going to argue with 1 point. If Mike does this, don't call those guys. Call Foul Territory. Call the Todd Father. Announce that John on here.
And we can kind of try and massage the message and make sure that it gets across the correct way, because we're one of the only places that is not scared of owners, because they can't suspend us because they don't own us. So just a little helpful hint. Okay, I need my well, you can wear them because you're
okay.
You're the head honcho, but it is that time. We'll swing right back to Hot Corner in just a moment. But being that we are kind of outside and AJ is preparing for whatever's going to happen, hurricane, tropical storm, whatever it is, make sure while the sun's out there, you have quality shades built to last. I'm talking about Shady Rays, premium polarized sunglasses. You do not need to break the bank for these bad boys. Kratzy rocking them great. He's going to walk into the clubhouse soon in Philadelphia, and everyone's going to want one, and you're going to say,
"Sure, you can have them."
Really?
Yeah, because Shady Rays will give me.
You'll get more.
I'll get more. I'll tell them that Trea Turner and Bryce Harper stole my Shady Rays, so Shady Rays will give me some extra.
And the good news is, if you lose a pair or you break a pair, or Trea Turner grabs them, then they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. So you can wear those Shady Rays with confidence. And also their best deal of the year is happening right now, but only for the FT fam. So check it out. You got to use the code FOUL. You go to shadyrays.com. It's 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Get it done. Okay. Let's swing it back. We got more to go here on Hot Corner, and some of this is actually pretty fucked up. So we want to cover it though, because it's sad, and there's been just a ton of problems right now with the White Sox and now in the ballpark. So let's show this tweet from Josh Nelson from Sox Machine. Week covering the White Sox. Sunday, Han has 1 year left. Monday, White Sox exploring relocation, and that conversation, I started reading into that a little bit. That was like the Nashville threat, which I've got so much juice on. It's not the White Sox, it's MLB now bullying cities. It's ridiculous. Poor owners. Tuesday, Han and Williams were fired. Wednesday, it was reported that Chris Getz would be the next GM. Thursday, the Sox give up 5 homers and lose to Oakland. Thursday, I would call just a normal day. That's actually
seemed just kind of mid.
That's super mid. So you needed to come up with something else there. And Friday, and this is what's really unfortunate too. Fans are shot inside the stadium, still looking for more details, but it appears that it was 2 women that were shot, but they don't even know, when I last checked, exactly what happened, if it was from inside or outside the ballpark. But hope everyone's doing okay and everyone's safe. That's the shitty part of it. But geez, I mean, this organization right now is going through it on a daily basis. And again, AJ, it's not a playoff team, but we can't stop talking about them right now because they're always in the news.
Okay, let me start. What was it? Sunday, Rick Hahn has 1 year left. Doesn't matter. He gone.
Yeah.
He gone.
2, Monday, they are exploring relocation. Yeah, they are exploring relocation because Jerry Reinsdorf wants to build a ballpark village and or a battery. Guess where? Bridgeport, the city of Bridgeport, the town, whatever it is, they're not going to give it to him. So he is looking for relocation. Now, is he going to move to Nashville? I highly doubt it. But some of the places they've talked about, Soldier Field or where the United Center is, or Arlington Heights where the where the Bears are allegedly going to move. The funny part is if they move to like Arlington, they'll be north of the Cubs. So then as the Cubs become the south side and the White Sox are the north siders, they're going to have to get a whole new city connect. See, so there's a marketing opportunity for the White Sox, right? They can just they can make them switch. Now, as far as the fans getting shot in the stadium, it's an awful thing. My question is how do we not know where this came from? How was there not? It's like it's been shut down really quick. There's a picture on Twitter of a guy holding the bullet itself, right? The slug. There's 2 people I think that got hit, one in the arm, one in the leg. And my thing is, if you're at a game and someone fires a gun in the stadium, which they shouldn't be able to get in because you have to go through the metal detectors, people would scatter. right? And then there's the report that the Chicago police chief said to stop the game, and the White Sox are like, nah, we're good. We're going to keep on playing. This whole thing doesn't make any – it's crazy. I'm glad the two people that were hurt were okay. But, I mean, imagine if you guys are in the stands at a game and someone fires a gun. People are scattering. Nobody scattered. Nobody did anything. And we can't get an explanation for where the bullet came from. It's like the JFK bullet, right? It's the magic bullet that hit 7 people with one shot, right? Remember in the movie JFK where the guy's like, look at the bullet trail, right? It's crazy that this happens to this organization after the week that they've already had, and this is just the icing on the cake. And I'm just glad everybody's okay.
It just seems so much speculation with no idea. Like even that video on Twitter that like came out and like they were calling for help, and I don't know. Like you said, there's just a lot going on there. But I would love it if they would go to the North. I love that you said a new City Connect jersey would be a ballpark city and new City Connect jerseys.
Now think about this. Now this is all speculation. Okay, we talked about selling teams, right? And teams that want to be sold and possible extensions and all this, right? Artie Moreno. Jerry Reinsdorf's 87 years old, okay? There is a lot of speculation that in the next year or two, he would like to possibly sell the team. This is all a leverage play by him, because if his lease is up in, I think, 6 years with where they are right now, I think.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a new lease signed and he wants to sell the team in the next couple of years.
Might have lost.
Shoot, did you guys lose me? Oh, okay. Sorry, but if this is just speculation, right? If I'm Jerry Reinsdorf, I'm putting basically the town of Bridgeport on blast right now and saying, hey, if you don't give me a new lease, yeah, I'll move the team, but he's got to get it done in the next 6 years. So he's putting the city on blast saying, and then if he does get a new lease signed, it makes the team easier to sell because they know, A, they're either going to have a new ballpark, or B, they're locked into guaranteed rate field for the next amount of time. So it's a power play by Jerry Reinsdorf. Don't let anybody fool you.
MLB is going to have an absolute brawl for years to come with every local city as they demand that they hand them over free land and free tax breaks and everything so that they can all create what the Atlanta Braves did and be profit machines. Just watch.
And don't forget,
they're all jealous of that. These are competitive human beings.
Don't forget,
competitive billionaires. What?
Guaranteed rate when it was old New Comiskey back when they built it. Mm-hmm. They built it like right before Camden Yards. There's a little bit, I believe, from what I've heard from people, the White Sox are mad they didn't build at Camden Yards. They built more of the old cookie cutter style. Yep. It's a little bit different, but then Camden came, I think, a couple years after, and then it was like, boom, all these new, like the one you're sitting at, right? It's not the cookie cutter. It's got views of the city. It's got funky walls. It's got funky things. The White Sox Stadium is not like that. It is more of the round, stadium that was built in like the 70s and the 80s. And listen, the White Sox need a new stadium, but can they get it? I don't know.
I fucking love this ballpark. And I will say, I went to Chicago when they hadn't had playoffs in a minute for Southside and actually for Northside, but more recently for Southside and here in Philadelphia. Those were two of the wilder scenes. Like, I would say there weren't many comparable, and Southside of Chicago, when they got a little playoff baseball for the first time in a minute, was nuts. So this place beat it, but not by much. But this place to watch a ball game, much better. Aside from the lights, because I like lights with colors. You know that. I'm a raver. Raver at heart.
Wait, what?
No, they got the colors in Chicago. The light
up the weird
the pinwheels.
Yeah,
the pinwheels.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Lollipops?
Lollipops.
They're pinwheels, dude. Come on.
Dude.
Oh, pinwheel lollipop.
What's a pinwheel?
Same.
What's a lollipop?
Pinwheel is.
Let's move to the brilliant scoreboard operator in Queens this past weekend. After Shohei Ohtani was doing damage, they said, please don't break anything else, Shohei. And don't go thinking that there is not a greater motive to putting that on the scoreboard. They're trying to impress him in any way possible to be like, Shohei, you're the best. Your exit velocity hits different. Obviously, fans were there hoping that they were going to see him pitch, and obviously that didn't end up being the case because he's not pitching
same
the rest
as here.
of the year. But same as here now, coming up for this series.
Tuesday.
All right. So the greater point I want to get to is there was actually a ton of drama over the weekend involving Shohei because people were like, how, and we pointed this out too, how is there not more testing and communication being done in the weeks where there was arm fatigue and other issues going on where it felt like for sure there's imaging being done? We find out there wasn't up until that Wednesday outing when they find out that there's UCL damage. And the Angels tried to play some defense this weekend saying, hey, this is on Shohei. We wanted to do more testing. He said no. They also kind of said that in their mind, he wouldn't have been able to pitch if the UCL was damaged before that time period. So it definitely happened then. But I'm like, okay, but it could still lead up to that time period. So I think this is like the official end. This is like the divorce period now for Shohei and the Angels. Not that they're not getting along, but the Angels are like, screw it, this dude's leaving. We're going to come out in public and be like, nah, this was not our fault because this makes us look bad, right? As an organization, if they take the hit and say, oh, sorry, our bad, we didn't make sure Shohei was in the best possible position. Now every ball club's going to point to them in the future for a pitcher and be like, hey, do you want to go there? Remember Ohtani got a second TJ because they weren't testing him. So this time they go, no. That was on Shohei. He chose to do that. Am I reading too much into it?
Well, I have a different view of it. I don't know what AJ feels about this, but you have something wrong inside of your body. There is something wrong when you're playing. I had no images ever done on my body until I had something with my knee, and they looked at it, and that was it. And then I woke up one morning in the offseason. Again, I'm not Shohei Ohtani.
And you're not a pitcher.
I'm not a pitcher. But I woke up one morning in the offseason. I was a free agent, and I couldn't bend my arm past here. I couldn't straighten it past there. So I got pictures on my own, and I had a lodged something in my elbow that was keeping it from moving. I got it taken out, but after the surgery, they said, did your elbow ever hurt? And I was like, no, my elbow has not hurt since 2003. And they were like, well, your UCL is about 80% torn. And I played my entire career that way. That was 2016 going into 17. So as a player, and I'm not saying this is what Shohei did, but I'm like, nobody else is getting pictures of the internals of what is making me money. If it blows, it blows. That's on me, but I'm not getting any more images. The more images you get taken, the worse off it's going to be.
You're saying that's information for teams.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. They're going to find something.
Mm-hmm.
And so
But they did find something ultimately, and my thing was...
because it went.
Yeah. So you're saying it was going to happen regardless.
No, I'm saying you didn't know that was going on in there until, let's say he makes it to the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Liam Hendricks just talked about it the other day. 2008 was the first time that he had an issue with his elbow. Now we're in 2023, and he's made millions of dollars and hasn't had anything. If teams had that information... we'll give you a 1-year deal. Not saying they're going to give Shohei a 1-year deal, but I'm saying they could do a John Lackey type of contract where it's like 6-year contract, but if you have Tommy John partway through the 7th year, you got to play for the league minimum, that kind of thing. And that's just the less information you give, you got to be a little prudent. You got to be a little prude about images. You can't just be giving any images for anybody.
Yeah. Listen, Shohei, here's the thing about it. If Shohei said no, maybe he knew something, maybe he didn't. But if it's going to blow, it's going to blow anyways. And we talked about Tanaka on here. He pitched like his whole career, right, with a torn UCL. So, and R.A. Dickey pitched without a UCL for his whole career. So people can do it. People have been able to do it. It's just now it's sad and that he's going through this. And this goes back to what I asked you guys a couple weeks ago. If your team signing him to a 10-year deal for $600 million, do you put a non-pitching clause in there if he doesn't pitch? Because that is part of the value of him. And who knows now? And maybe after this, he might not want to pitch anymore because he might like, dang, I just went through 2 of these things. I don't want to have to go through another one possibly. It just sucks for the timing. It sucks for Major League Baseball. But I can't wait because I talked to Ken Rosenthal this weekend. It's going to be the most fascinating negotiation/signing we have ever seen.
I'm here for it. I am definitely here for it. I need to. The spectrum of like normally they get pretty close. Yeah, we still think it's probably the Dodgers type of thing. But the spectrum of how much he can make based on his marketability, based on will he pitch, based on if he does pitch, how long will this Tommy John hold up? Will he be the first Cy Young Award winner with 3 Tommy Johns? Like, I mean, if you're talking about a 10-year, if you're talking about 10, let's say he gets it this offseason, and you're talking about a 10-year deal.
Right. It usually only
how
holds
long
up
is this
for, I think, 5 to 7 years
the
is
first
the average.
The first one for him was 6, so I'm not going any other place other than what his is, and it's 6 years. Let's say this one lasts for another 6.
My thing is just I wouldn't shy away from who this person is and that he is going to dictate this marketplace as much as any free agent, even with the injury situation. Once he clarifies what his plan is individually, which he will do, even though he's very mysterious, he will do that with ball clubs who want to invest in him. My only thing, AJ, that I keep going against you on is, sure, you want to put some weird clause about me not pitching? Fuck you, not signing with you. That's all. There's 30 teams. I know only 15 of them are going to pursue me, but there's 30 teams. I'm moving on from somebody that's got all these stipulations. Look who I am. I'm bringing you 15, 20 mil in marketing money alone, even if I don't play.
3 things. 3 things I'm going to go with. 1, nobody knows what the hell he's looking for because he doesn't tell anybody. Okay?
Fair.
So we don't know. 2, Shohei does whatever the fuck he wants. The Angels aren't stopping him from doing anything, okay? He can do whatever he wants. And the Angels have allowed it, which is fine, great. But he can do whatever he wants. You don't want to hit on the field? Fine. You want to pitch every 6th day? Fine. Whatever it takes, right? Thirdly, though, the thing is, if he has to have Tommy John, why is he waiting? The second Tommy John, the recovery for people is about 3 to 4 months longer than what it is originally from people that I spoke to, okay? So if he waits till the end of this road trip, which is what they're saying, they're on a 10-day roadie right now. So they still have another week before they get back to Anaheim. That's just another week on the timetable, which means he's not only going to miss, if he does have this surgery, all of 24, but he's going to miss a big chunk of 25 as a pitcher. So why not have this surgery today? Or why not have it as soon as he found out about this, if this is what the diagnosis is? Now, I know he's getting second opinions and all that, but you guys have already said he's got the MVP locked up. So why not have it and bring more value to whoever it is going to sign him? Because he can pitch, whether it's a week or 2 weeks earlier. I mean, that counts to the team that's going after him.
Yeah, here's my thing with, and I completely blanked on what I was going to say. So crap hole.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, you were saying something, and then I got a message, and I completely forgot what I was. And I know it's going to pop up. You were saying about the 10 years hitting. Oh, what if? Where did they just go? Where were they just
New
at?
York? Mets.
Okay, and you're saying maybe he stops at the end of this road trip. He wants the surgery at the end and he doesn't play the rest of the season. What if he wanted to see Citi Field and meet with some people at Citi Field and keep playing and kind of show them what he's got?
Also show off what he brings even to 2 ball clubs, not in playoff mode, and you still have a pretty busy ballpark just to see one human. So no matter what's going on, as long as he is on the field, he brings more value than any player in big league history.
True. Just saying, he wants to see what that environment's like because he knows might be a year of rebuild. He might be going there and hitting dingers.
Mm-hmm. I also don't think if he's there, it's a rebuilding year for them anyway. They're already in.
No.
There's articles about them looking into Yamamoto, who's going to be a huge free agent pitcher this offseason. So I still stand by what I said when it happened.
I'm going to take your theory, Kratz.
Rebuilding.
Maybe he goes to Philadelphia. Maybe he wants to go to Philadelphia. Or where do they go after Philadelphia?
I didn't look because I just started thinking. I even forgot my question when I was
Oakland. So maybe he wants to play for Oakland. Maybe he's showing Oakland what he can bring.
We're moving on. If
we're going off that theory, let's keep it going.
You lost. We lost. I'm sorry. I apologize, everyone, for the last 10 seconds of your life. You'll never get it back, but let me try and make up for it because this show does not hold back on anything. So let's go to That's What He Said. We have lots of quotes from the weekend. We're going to start with Beef. And yes, it's on the other New York side where the Yankees are kind of being sore losers right now. When I saw the discrepancy here in hit by pitches, and I know for the most part, guys aren't trying to hit people, but sometimes they are. So you had tons of beef from the weekend, multiple times, even within one sequence where a bench is cleared. where Arozarena was hit. He said it was on purpose. He steals second and third. He's talking a little smack. Bench is clear again. So let's start with post-game Yankees reliever Ian Hamilton on the Rays. Quote, if they want to come over here, they can come over here. I wish we had another game against them. Okay. Great reply. Not that he saw that quote, but just reply overall to what's gone down between the Rays and the Yanks this season, because FYI, in the season series, the Yankees have been hit by a pitch from the Rays twice this year. And for the Yankees, they've hit 12 Rays. So let's get to Brandon Lau's quote post-game, who was one of the first FT guests ever, and it was a money quote. He goes, looking at it, it's a last-place team against a team that's in contention. They're just trying to ignite something over there. Not worth our time at this moment. We're focused on bigger things right now. So, and he later was saying how, like, there's way more to lose for them than us. And that's true, right? That's like, ready for my example? You're at a bar. There's a crazy, annoying dude. Somehow he's talking shit and wants to get in a fight. You look at him and you look at yourself and you go, that dude has nothing to lose.
Do we lose? Okay, well, here's my thing.
And they kind of were kicking it at him, and he finally was just like, why are we wasting our time on this? Like, what is, and they really.
Yeah, but they're getting hit by pitches. That's the problem is they don't have to talk shit, AJ, but if they keep getting smacked by pitches, and the Isaac Paredes one was scary too. He got hit on the helmet. Enough's enough. And it's just like, we probably won't get to this too much, but Pete Alonso got pissed at the Angels, and they were like, he got hit by a pitch on his neck this weekend. They're like, dude, we're not trying to hit you. Hoppy was a rookie. He's like, we're not trying to hit you. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Know where the damn pitch is going, or you shouldn't be in the big leagues.
Listen, I love two things. I love what Brandon Lau said. That is quote of the year, because he's basically like, listen, bitches, you're a little flea to us. Shoo flea. Whatever it is, I'm just going to flick you guys away like a little flea that you guys are, because you mean nothing to us. Ian Hamilton, dude, come on. Like, stop. You're not going to get into what are we like, the street gangs? Like, we're going to meet at the corner after class? Like, come on, dude, stop. Like, that's false hustle to me from Ian Hamilton. Like, if they want to come over here, come over. Like, just stop, okay? Just stop, because that's just a bad quote. Brandon Lau, awesome quote. My problem is Randy Arozarena gets hit by a pitch. Whether it was intentional or not intentional, don't care. What do you do if you're pissed off and you get hit by a pitch? He steals second, and then he steals third. Okay, he gets in scoring position. It was only, I think, a 4-run game. It wasn't like it was 12-2 and they're showing him up. And then he goes to get his helmet, and Abreu said something to him, and Arena's like, screw y'all. Y'all just drilled me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, continue to play the game. It's like the Yankees are like, oh, we used to be the big bad Yankees. Nobody messes with us. Well, guess what? The Rays have owned you for years now. Whatever you want to put it, look at the records. The Rays have, for, 3, 4, 5 years now, the Rays have crushed the Yankees, right? Especially at the Trop. So the Rays are like, dude, we don't need this. And the Yankees, they're trying to start some shit for no reason. Like, there was nothing to see here. Stop hitting Randy, and Randy did what he was supposed to do. So kudos to Randy, kudos to Brandon Lau. And for the Yankees, like, dude, season's over. Like, stop trying to start shit.
But the Rays, like, how does this number get out of hand? Like, you got to – I don't know if you guys remember back when CC threw, he needed like 1/3 or 2/3 of an inning to hit his $500,000 bonus, and he came out and he was just like hit the first batter, and he was like – he yelled at Cashy. He said, that's how you take care of it. And then he walked off the field.
And they gave him the cash.
They ended up still giving him the cash at the end of the season. But to me, if it's 12-2 here, how are they not getting back at these guys? How did they let it get to this point? And some people be like, oh, well, you can't be a headhunter. You have to be able to throw at guys. When guys on your team get hit, and AJ, I forget who it was that was on, was like, do not ever retaliate for me. He never wanted somebody to retaliate for him. That's how it's taken care of. If somebody on your team, if Randy's sick of getting hit, somebody needs to go up to Randy and be like, whether it's Cash, whether it's somebody on his team, and be like, hey, you want us to get somebody? Like, we're not going to get somebody if you hit Jose Siri. Sorry, you're not quite at the level of a Rosarena or
Although,
Brandon
like,
Lau.
Paredes getting hit in the helmet, though, changes
That has
things
to
for me.
be.
It's like, all right, we've been
Has
hit
to be.
multiple times this series. Now our dude gets hit in the helmet. That's a life-threatening situation. Enough. 12-2 is such a solid
Here's
discrepancy.
the thing. No, listen. You want to know how you stop it? You hit Aaron Judge. You hit Aaron Judge. And you say that's for your guys. You know what Aaron Judge does? He goes in the Yankees, does it out, and tells his pitchers, stop hitting those dudes because they're going to keep hitting me. And if he doesn't, if they hit someone else, you hit Aaron Judge again. And then he's going to get pissed, and he's going to go over to the Yankee guys and go, stop the hit them because they're only going to hit me. Right? That's how you stop. If you're a Rays, and I'm not calling for beanball wars like it used to be, but you have to stop it. You have to pick a guy. Tony La Russa used to say, you hit us, we're going to hit three of y'all. Okay? Right? And you hit Pujols, we're going to hit Judge, Stanton, whoever you want to name, right down the line. We're going to hit them all until you guys stop throwing at Pujols. And that's how you stop it. Remember, was it Delman Young? Delman Young got hit when he was with the Twins, and he didn't charge the mound. He charged his own dugout, and he's like, y'all stop fucking throwing at those dudes because I'm the one getting hit. That's the way you handle it.
And everybody, you handle it different for everybody. And also situations handle it too. I've been in situations where we were pushing for the playoffs. The team we were getting hit by was not pushing for the playoffs. And I was like, no, like we need this. And it wasn't the time. It wasn't the time because if we lose a guy to a suspension for throwing at somebody, you can't get back at him. So this will be, just like Ian said, just like Hamilton said, this will be exciting to watch next year.
The thing that I'll say about the Rays, and Kevin Cash knows his team better than we do, he has a lot of young relievers, and you don't ever want to put a young reliever in a spot like that, right? You don't want to lose Glasnow, you don't want to lose Eflin, you don't want to lose Savale. You know, you're already down McClanahan and some other starters. So you're bringing in rookie guys to try to hit somebody. That just puts guys in a bad situation. And you don't want to put that on a young kid because, you know, if he misses or whatever, only something bad can happen. So it's a weird situation. The Rays are fighting for a playoff spot. The Yankees have nothing to play for. So, I mean, yeah, but this is not going to be over because if Ian Hamilton's coming out saying we want to play him again, well, guess what? You'll see him again next year.
And Cashy actually admitted that to me too. He said he may not have handled situations early in his career, alluding to that part. You can't send just anybody out there.
The whole stable of 90+ dudes. Remember the line?
Yeah, like there's been a lot of Yankees Rays angst. And early on, I think it was Nestor this year said, it's not really the Red Sox Yankees anymore. It's the Rays Yankees, and it's, well, that kind of backfired.
But my thing is, I actually will give a ton of credit to whoever's making these decisions, especially on Sunday when you're looking and you're like, any other case, we would be throwing right back at them, throwing at Judge. But like AJ's saying, young team, and I think they're looking over and going, okay, I've got a premier job running a bank, and there's a dude in the bar who's been arrested 10 times and has no job and gets in fights every week and doesn't give a fuck. And this is just not the time to go after them and start shit and have your players get suspended. Maybe somebody gets hurt. For them, they're going, hey, guys, we're going to play them next year. We'll both be good again. It'll be early on in the season. We will get our revenge. For now, let's just take the high road, look like absolute G's and say, oh, keep hitting us, guys. You got nothing else to play for at this point. We're going to go play in the playoffs. We're also going to have fun because the Rays do that. And that's one thing that I've pointed out with the Yanks too is you need a home run celebration. You need to loosen up a little bit and join the party, this new wave of players that like to celebrate a little more. Do you have to go to Randy level and stop and pose and all of that? Not if you don't want to, and not every player has to do that. But I will say the Rays have been putting on a clinic all year long at how to have fun. They do it on a daily basis. They do it before games. They give us a ton of content, right? Like, oh, it's Yandy Diaz's birthday. Let's bring out a band for him. You don't have to do that all the time, but you know what I'm saying? The Rays have been a fun team to cover. They're entertaining. It's good for the sport. They do it in game. They do it off the field. So for me, I think they're just running circles around the Yanks right now.
I would just say on the field to run circles. You can have fun different ways. I would kind of push back against the whole, like, are they having fun? Are they not? Maybe the guys on the team don't want a celebration.
It's good for the business of baseball, though. Kids want to see that. I'm not saying you have to go to their level. But I think those teams, AJ, are pretty much on opposite ends of the spectrum. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, totally. You got Jose Siri that hits a single and he bat flips like he just won the World Series. I mean, yeah, the Rays and the Yankees. I mean, who was it? Glasnow when he came on? He was somewhere and he said, when I went to the Rays, all they said was just be yourself, have fun, and don't be a dick, basically.
Yeah, because the Pirates were running like a military op. He said he went from the Pittsburgh Navy SEALs to the Tampa Bay, let's just have fun and win Rays. I'm not saying the Rays are doing everything exactly the way that everyone should be doing it, but AJ, in my mind,
they're winning.
This team clear.
I think we lost you guys again. So stop talking, Scott. My thing is, didn't this all start though years ago when Shelley Duncan and Johnny Gomes? Remember Shelley Duncan? I think it was in spring training. Slid in with his spikes up, and Johnny Gomes came from right field and was like. And it's like the Rays have always had a little bit of an inferiority complex to the Yankees because they play in Tampa and the Yankees have spring training in Tampa. When you go there, the Yankees and Red Sox come in there. It's like Yankees and Red Sox home games. So the the Rays players, they hear about it and they have a little bit of already a chip on their shoulder. And then when they're beating them like the Rays have the last couple of years, party on, Rays, because you're doing it on the field. And the Yankees don't like it. They're not used to being told like, hey, like, shoo. Like, just go away, big bad Yankees, because they're not that anymore. And honestly, the big thing is the Rays aren't afraid of the Yankees at all. They are not afraid. They stand right up to them, and they're like, we're the Rays, and we've been kicking your ass for years.
You know who's the AAA manager for Scranton? AAA for the
Shelley
Yankees?
Duncan?
Shelley Duncan. Funny you brought that up.
Wow. He joined enemy lines.
No, he wasn't. He was everywhere.
He was a White Sox coach last year.
Gomes. He came up with the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean
Yankees.
Yes.
Johnny Gomes was playing for the Rays, probably Devil Rays at that point.
Yeah.
And there was a big, Shelley slid in, took a guy out when you were allowed to do that at second base, and Johnny came in from way up on the top rope.
All right, a couple more things. Quickie here, but usually you can't grade trades right away. It only took a few weeks. Noah Syndergaard was designated for assignment by Cleveland. And on the other side, the Dodgers picked up a piece. I mean, Ahmed Rosario was having a tough year. I know it was weird, actually, how much decline there was on defense for a guy that should still be in his prime. He's still in his 20s. I believe he's like 29. He's going to hit free agency here. And if you look at his numbers, the struggles were against right-handed pitching, like immense struggles against right-handed pitching. Against left-handed pitching, he had a good line. And the Dodgers said, we left a platoon, so let's plug him in. He's not like running the world for LA, but he's a useful player for a contending club. And Syndergaard wasn't going to throw another pitch for them. So it's an instant win of a deal. It sucks for Thor. He hasn't been the same since coming off the Tommy John surgery. Usually a guy comes back and he throws just as hard these days. It just wasn't the case for him. So probably at this point, minor league contract, see if he can find it again, in the offseason to latch on with the team. But my point here is that's an instant win of a trade for the Dodgers, AJ. Yet another dub for the Dodgers at the trade deadline.
Well, two things. One, the Guardians were trying to clear space for their younger guys they brought up because they realized they weren't going to win the division. So they wanted, whoever they could bring up. I think it's Arias is playing shortstop for him every day. So they were like, okay, Ahmed. And I think he's a free agent or his contract's almost up at the end of the year. So we're not bringing you back anyways.
No, Rosario's a free agent.
Yeah. So the Guardians like, whatever we can get for this guy, let's try. And maybe they catch lightning in a bottle with Syndergaard. And then I think if you talk to people around baseball, Syndergaard was just having a hard time in general, mentally. Like we saw I'd give away my firstborn. Remember that whole quote fest he had a couple of months ago? If I could pitch the way I did when I was with the Mets. But if you talk to people in baseball, they're like, did he get too big? Is he too bulky? He's not loose enough. He didn't have the whip he used to have in his arm. And it affected him mentally. Like if you talk to people, they're like, he's got the hair and he looks like Thor. But mentally, it's not as strong as I think we expect him to be because of the physique and what he looks like. So I think this is a chance for him to get out of the season. He's struggling. Like you said, I don't know, go to somewhere that makes him comfortable, get back to where he is, and sign a minor league deal with the team, go into spring training, win a job, and become a useful major league pitcher like we know he can be.
I would love to see people stand up and say, hey, when he went to the Dodgers, I didn't think it was going to work out. You're probably – I know I was sitting there going, oh, man, I watched him last year down the stretch here with the Phillies. I watched him in the playoffs. Like, it was trending really well. The velocity was never close to where it was. But, he never was a big strikeout guy. And I was thinking, he's going to go to the Dodgers, and they're going to be like, hey, do this and that. and don't worry about striking guys out. We'll never ask you to throw a four-seamer at the top of the zone. We're just going to increase your downhill plane. And I'm like, this might be a crazy, awesome signing. And it didn't work out, which seems like it's rare. There's rare misses like that.
But for some teams, they miss on everyone. So
that's what I mean. It's rare for it was the other side.
Was it, right?
I just thought it would be
picking the right spot to go to here.
For sure. I think you got like $12 million, 1-year deal. And
they missed on it. It just didn't work out.
And they're still doing awesome. So when teams are like, well, we really tried to get this guy and it didn't work out. Maybe this is the case where the Angels might have won up the Dodgers because they got Logan O'Hoppe for their 1-year signing of.
But then it flipped back. Tyler Anderson goes to LA, has the season of his life, and then the Angels pay him. So anyway,
you guys are getting way deep in the weeds right now.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's go in the weeds on the division and the wild card standings right now. So we've got some streaking going on. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. And also we have a show called Brew Crew Territory where you can really get deep into what is going on in Milwaukee because it's a lot of success right now, but they've won 8 games in a row actually since they had a hard time against the Dodgers. They've been on fire, but the American League wild card, which we got into a little bit with Russ Dorsey, is what we expected it to be in terms of 4 teams for 3 spots, and that includes whoever takes the seat in the American League West. So right now, Tampa in second place in the AL East. To me, still way clear enough. Still a very good ball club. No problems there. It's Texas, Houston, Toronto, and then, of course, Seattle's leading the AL West now. Boston, outside chance, but getting slimmer unless they put together a ridiculous win streak. I mean, we talked about it for a moment earlier before we got into our interviews. But, AJ, you just saw Texas. Do you still think that Toronto is going to be the club on the outside looking in? Toronto blows my mind, man. I mean, this past weekend, you got to win that series against Cleveland. Cleveland's not a bad ball club, so you take 2 out of 3, okay. But this is your postseason right now. Toronto's got plenty of dudes that can rake. Their pitching's really good for the most part. I mean, not this weekend, but, I mean, they've got a solid starting rotation. I like a lot of what they have in their bullpen in terms of stuff, variety. Like, I think they built a good roster, and it's a good team. It's just not a great team right now, which has surprised me. Some of it I can point towards, like a Vladdy Jr. is not the MVP type Vladdy, but what's the primary issue here for why Toronto is going to be freaking out in the last few weeks to see if they even can squeak into the playoffs? Bats?
The Bats. What's the guaranteed way to score a run? A dinger.
Mm-hmm.
Vladdy Jr. is the first guy on their team with 20-plus homers. The Braves have how many guys with 20-plus homers?
They have 7.
Wow.
7. That's crazy. Now, obviously, it's a huge discrepancy. The Braves are the best team in the National League, Dodgers, whatever there. But, you're talking about a team that needs to figure it out. They just could. They were like, we're going to fight, and then, whatever. Cleveland, here, Guardians, you take it. Oh, you're going to give it back to us? Okay. That game was back and forth. It was a standard day game at the end of a long stretch for the Blue Jays. I don't know how they can figure it out, and especially with this, I hope this Chapman stuff is not what he came out of the game for Saturday night. Seemed like it was something that he jammed his finger, and now they're going to get images of it. That is a huge loss. Bichette's injury didn't seem like it was that big of a deal, but you're banged up at the end of the year. So if you're coming out of games that you got to win, it's tough to play at your top level, and I think they're seeing it in the batter's box. And that's where I think the consistency of a lineup that I think should be much better. At the beginning of the year, I felt like they would be a lot better, and it just hasn't rounded out consistently. They'll go through stretches where they do, but not consistent enough.
They scored 17 runs this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday's a 10-7 loss. They lost 5-2 on Friday. They won 8-3 on Saturday. So you're scoring. I mean, that should win you a series. 17 runs in 3 days against the Cleveland team that can't hit and pitches pretty well. If I told you heading into the series,
fair,
Toronto scores 17 runs, what happens? You probably would say they grabbed 2 out of 3.
And they lost 2
out of 3. AJ?
They're missing a piece. What that piece is, I don't know. They're missing something. And obviously Vlad's not having a great year. Chapman's having a great year. He's one of the highest rated position players available at free agency, hitter wise. He's having a great year. Bichette was he was getting hits, but he wasn't hitting for the power. Springer missed a bunch of time. Varsho they traded for hasn't done much. I mean, they missed Teoscar Hernandez. They missed Gurriel, right? 2 guys they got rid of because both those guys are doing okay. Alejandro Kirk's not having the year he had. And their pitching's been good, not great. Manoah getting hurt and not pitching the way he's supposed to be pitching, I think has really been a huge loss for them. Gosman's been good. Everyone else has been good, right? Romano blew some saves. They went out and got Hicks. It's like, and I know he's your boy, Kratzy, but man, is Schneider on the hot seat? Because there's something missing, whether it's a fire, whether it's a fight, whether it's a guy in there, a player in there taking charge, and I don't know because I'm not there. There's something missing because going into this year, everybody was like, man, Toronto, this is a team that's got a chance to really take the next step and not only win the East, but possibly win the World Series. And now you look at them and I'm like, well, they're not better than Seattle. They're not better than Houston. They're really not better than Tampa. And are they better than Texas? I mean, Texas is imploded and they're still ahead of them. So, I mean, I don't know how they get in. Again, they might get hot, but man, it is not the year north of the border that many people predicted. And they have all the money in the world, too. I mean, they have a whole country. Rogers has more money than anybody who owns a team. I mean, they can go out and get whoever they want.
Not everybody wants to go there, so you might have to overpay. So if you're looking to, pay fair dollar amount, they can't get anybody. But yeah, you're right. That is something that's very overlooked, is the fact that they have some cheese up there.
I will say this, okay? I'm going to point this out because I didn't realize what it looked like. And I am a schedule watcher, not a scoreboard watcher. I'm a schedule watcher. I believe that who you play, don't look at record. Look at where the team is at. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, the Nationals are next for the Blue Jays. That's not a fun team to play, but still not a great team. A team that you're probably not going to get swept against. They play you tough, right? But
that's a series they have to win.
That's their next series.
Sure.
But
they have to win that series.
That's next. Then they're 3 at Colorado.
Another series. But Colorado's tricky because it's Colorado.
I know, but still, 3 at Colorado. I like that. Okay. Team that got rid of some of their good dudes. You're in Colorado, actually a chance for maybe the offense to be like, let's have a day, or let's have a series. 3 at Oakland. Then they come back home. 3 against Kansas City. I mean, this is about as soft as it can get over this stretch. Then you get a little bit of a gauntlet where you got 4 against Texas, 3 against the Red Sox.
That was great analysis, Scott. I have no idea what you said. Okay, so Philly, this is the NL wild card. Philly is in. They're hot. They're going to make it. The Cubs are the surprising team, and Arizona's bounced back from the dead. I don't think Cincinnati and Miami have enough to get there. San Diego, Washington, just we take them away. San Francisco is an intriguing team because of the way they kind of come together, and they've been cold, so they're due a hot streak. But man, I love the Phillies. I love where the Cubs are at. Arizona, San Francisco is going to be a battle. I think after that, you can kind of wipe them away. Cincinnati's pitching's kind of falling apart. Miami's kind of falling apart. So, I mean, it's 4 teams for 3 spots. So that's my analysis on the National League. I think Philly, they're in. They're going to get in. I mean, they're 14 games over, and they're almost 13 games over behind the Braves. Cubs are playing great baseball right now. They have something special. And I love Arizona, the team. I think they're due for a bounce back. They got down almost to 500 and came back, and now here they are ahead of everybody. I'd love to see the Diamondbacks. But the rest of them, I mean, I think you can wipe that down. The Marlins, I just don't think are going to make it. They're kind of, like we talked about earlier, leaking oil. the Reds are leaking oil because of their pitching and they've never been through this. But other than that, I think it's, again, 4 teams for 3 spots, and it's going to be interesting to see how it comes down the road. And here's the thing about Phillies. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. You guys are in Citizens Bank Park, but they're not scared of the Braves. They're not scared of the Dodgers. They have the team that can go in and beat those 2 teams, or even the Brewers. I love the Brewers' chances and make a deep run because of their starting pitching, because they have Devin Williams in the back end. Games get closer in the postseason. So I think the Phillies, nobody's going to want to play the Phillies, especially in Citizens Bank Park with the crowd and all that. So I think that the Phillies have a great chance out of these wildcard teams to really make a deep run, and especially because more than anything, they're not scared of the big boys because they went to the World Series last year, and that place was absolutely electric in Citizens Bank Park last year. All right, well, let's take a look at the odds for Bet MGM to win the World Series. It's crazy that how much some of these have changed from the beginning of the year. Atlanta, especially. I mean, they were kind of one of the favorites coming into the year, and I mean, to be only 320 plus 320, that's an insane number. Baltimore, 3,500 to 900. Dodgers about the same. Texas has dropped big time, and Houston's odds have actually gone down from 700 to 800. I mean, Atlanta, LA is going to be a war if it comes down to that in the NLCS. I love Baltimore's chances until they lose Bautista. If he doesn't come back, that's a huge blow for them. Texas is kind of imploding as we watch. But where are the Mariners? I want to know, what are the Mariners? Can we get the Mariners odds? Because the Mariners, the way they pitch, and if Julio Rodriguez stays as hot as he is, you've really got to like the Mariners' chances. And I like the chances for the Twins to possibly win a playoff series for the first time since 2002. And they're not even on there. But, I mean, I guess these are the 5 probables or the biggest movers. But the fact that Atlanta is only plus 320 is crazy. Here's the AL pennant odds from Bet MGM. I love Baltimore, but again, this is before Felix Bautista goes down. If they don't have him, I think those numbers are a little bit low for them. Texas is really low. But I think Cleveland's got no chance. Tampa Bay has a shot. But again, where are the Mariners? Can I get a Mariners graphic? I mean, I want to talk Mariners and as hot as they are. And also, again, like I just said, I think this is a year where because there's no dominant team in the American League, that the Twins, because of Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan, Kenta Maeda in the bullpen, they have a chance, Pablo Lopez, to possibly win the first series since 2002.
AJ, you got us?
I got you guys.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
I was just running my analysis on who's going to win the World Series in the American League.
It was a great analysis.
Yeah, fantastic. Sorry.
Your Mariners, Scott, they don't even make the list anymore.
That's because
they should.
BetMGM doesn't think they're going to make it. Or maybe it just didn't shift. Maybe BetMGM
You're talking about the World Series? The World Series?
World Series or the pennant.
That's because it's the top 5 on the board. Obviously, it goes deeper than that. There are odds.
Well, that have changed, too. Like, there's some huge movers. Maybe the odds haven't changed from the beginning of the season that much.
Right. Maybe not a ton. Although
since
Houston's
last week
hasn't changed a ton either. They were plus 700 and it went to plus 800 at this point in the season for them. So you can't fit up everything. Can't fit all 30 teams on a graphic. Our graphic team does a fantastic job.
The team I'm worried about, or like, have they peaked too early? Are they the sprinter who ran super hard? Go ahead.
Orioles.
No. Arizona. They're 9-1 in the last 10. I think they are a great team. I really love watching them play. Like the way they fly around the outfield, fly around the bases, all that stuff. But it's not like their 9-1 last 10 has gotten them 4 games up. They're just in. And I think the Cubs are going to be tough. I think if the Reds figure this out, especially since Hunter Green just came back and he's coming, as soon as he starts rolling to those 2-3 starts in after the after the coming off the IL. I think he'll start settling in. I just am afraid that it might have been peaked a little too early.
I disagree. I disagree with the Reds because the Reds, honestly, I just don't think they have enough. I don't think the Reds have enough pitching-wise. And Hunter Green, great. And then also, I just want to say this for Scott, and this isn't picking on somebody other than Scott.
Somebody other than Scott.
I'm just saying, have you seen Ellie De La Cruz's numbers?
It's what we were afraid of, AJ.
It's called normalcy when you're a rookie and you get called up and you have to readjust to what the league figures out about you, and you tire a bit down the stretch. Dude's still got 1 point something wins depending on which one you're using. Like BB Ref's got him at 1.1. Obviously, he debuted pretty late, so still, if you project him over a season, he's still.
I'm just talking.
Player, and his OPS plus is still close 96. To league average. I get 96. What you're saying.
I'm just saying. Remember when he came up and you anointed him the best player of all time?
No.
Yeah, pretty much. You're Ellie. Like, listen, he's exciting as can be. The throw.
I said he needed to be up in the show, and I thought he would do well. And guess what? He is doing well. Unfortunately, his team did not decide to supplement their surprise early run. They did nothing.
Okay.
The Reds did nothing, and they relied on Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo coming back. And what's wrong? Nick Lodolo had a setback. And you're a young ball club, and you have tons of prospects. And they even said themselves, Nick Krall said, like, we can spend because fans are showing up. We can add a little to the payroll this year via trade deadline. And they did nothing.
Okay.
You can't rely on Ellie to carry your team this year.
I understand that, but I think that you could make a case that Steer and McLean are having better years than Ellie.
Yeah, of course. You can definitely make that case.
But my question is if we're...
Did I ever say that I didn't like those guys? I like those guys. I picked the Reds to destroy their over early this season. And at the beginning of the year, I was like, this team's going to be better than where they're being placed right now by the odds.
Okay, that's fair. But I'm just saying, and this isn't picking on Ellie at all, but we said when he came up, strikeouts are going to be a problem. 286 plate appearances, 107 punch-outs. Strikeouts don't go down when you get to the big leagues, and I hope he figures it out because he's a hell of a player. But the Reds need him to be better than a 740 OPS, 96 WRC plus player if they're going to make a run. And right now, that's what he is.
Do they need him to be the superstar?
Yes. I think they do. I think they all look at him and say, this is the guy in the minor leagues that was the superstar. And I think, they look at him. All these young guys are together, right? Steer, Encarnacion Strand, McLean, right? All these young kids are kind of there together. And especially Votto. I think Votto's still on the IL, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
They don't have him around.
Like a week ago.
Yep. Right? So he's not there. So they're all looking at Ellie because I guarantee these guys all played together at some point in the minor leagues. And they're like, man, this guy is the guy that's going to take us to the promised land in Ellie. And he's not doing that. And that's a little bit of like, when is this guy going to get it going? When's he going to become this superstar? And he will. At some point, he's going to click and he's going to become this great star. I sure hope it does because it'd be great for the game and for him. But I think there's a little bit of like, Ellie doesn't look quite as good. Now, listen, he has moments. Like the throw he made last night to throw out Corbin Carroll at 100 miles an hour was incredible, right? But then he goes 0 for 4 with 4 punch-outs, and you're like, oh, crap. It's like it's you hate to put it all on one guy, but I think that and again, I'm not there, but I feel like the Reds look at him and say, we need this guy to make us go.
That's fair, but I think it's also putting too much on him because he's still a guy that deserves to be
It's
in the
not fair.
Right now.
Baseball's not fair. Sports aren't fair.
Yeah, but
Life's
my
not
thing was
fair.
when they called him up, the debate was, is he ready? And I was like, yeah. And when I look down at what he's contributed numbers-wise, and when I look up at what he's done on the field in terms of, yes, a play like that yesterday, in terms of his ridiculous base running and being a threat on the bases like that, and still being a league average hitter at the moment, despite the strikeout concerns, I totally understand that. At 21 years old and 6'5", he still belongs in the big leagues right now.
I'm not arguing
and
that.
For the Reds to say that they were pushing their chips in all on Ellie De La Cruz to guide them to the playoffs in 2023, that would have been a ridiculous statement.
But that's what they did. That's how they. If you look at it from the outside,
they didn't do that. They didn't.
That's what it looks like because that's what I'm saying. But they looked at Ellie De La Cruz and said he's going to bring us enough that we can still sneak in.
Well, that's a clown thought.
Well, that's fine, but I'm saying it's not fair to him, and it's not fair by the organization to throw all this on him. They should have done. I'm agreeing with you. They should have done more to help him out, but they didn't. And so now everybody's looking at him and saying, man, we need this guy to be better. And should he be there? 100%. Because this experience he's getting is invaluable for the rest of his career, right? I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be there. I'm just saying it's not fair to him because I believe that people are looking at him saying, man, this dude needs to carry us when they should have gone out and made some moves to help him out.
And maybe that's why they didn't go and get
what?
somebody.
They said, oh, we got Ellie, we're good. Then that is a clown strategy.
No.
Oh, we're not as good as we think we are?
We're not as good as we think we are because
That's also a clown strategy, though, because you just told your team that.
I'm just saying.
You got to do something at the trade deadline if you're contending. This wild card race in the National
Why,
League
the Twins didn't?
Oh,
the Twins didn't do anything. Hey, the Twins didn't do anything, and they're freaking woo!
Well, the Twins are in the AL Central, and they looked around, and they did do something. They did nothing, which was much more than what any other team did because every other team subtracted. But no, I know. Not every team is going to get punished for doing nothing. But I'm saying Cincinnati, and it wasn't the offense as much as it was the pitching, in my mind, had a glaring need for pitching depth. And you didn't have to go and acquire Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. Nobody expected that from you. But to not be more serious about a Michael Lorenzen, an Eduardo Rodriguez, another bullpen piece or two. Those kind of conversations, in my mind, should have happened.
And I think they did happen. And I think
they said no.
The people who make the decisions. Sometimes the kids don't get to run the house. Sometimes the parents have to say, you know what, kids? You're not mature enough. You're not ready to play. Not saying that the Reds aren't mature enough, just that they had to make a decision. I just don't think we're quite here yet. I don't think, you have a 2-3 year plan. I love Steer and like what that lineup does with Steer and McClain and Friedel, I think is still leading the team in RBIs. And maybe they're missing out on a guy like Votto. So Votto was in and getting on base, and that has kind of hurt him because if you have a guy in the lineup all the time that's not getting on base, it really hurts no matter what. We're not sitting here going, oh man, Ellie, throw a ball. Oh, 100 miles an hour. Yeah, we win. That's just one play.
It's a super young ball club.
There you go.
That comes up. The league starts writing a book on you, and it's a lot to rely on all
now it's not our time.
Youngsters.
It's not our time. Encarnacion Strand. He needs
a
few
few
more at-bats.
The Reds are still right in the mix
here.
Absolutely.
But I'm saying, why did they not make a move? I think maybe front office, whoever's making that decision's like, maybe it's not quite the time.
Yeah, well, I think that's weak. I didn't ask you to mortgage all of your prospects, but
real quick
to not be aggressive.
But real quick, who? Okay, so Kratz said that he doesn't believe Arizona. They shot their shot too quick, right? And the Giants have kind of fallen down, right? The Diamondbacks 8-2, the Giants 3-7, right? So they kind of flip flopped where they were. So does this mean now he thinks the Giants are going to go up and the Diamondbacks are going to go down?
Really?
Giants had a schedule. They came into the Citizens Bank small park, and it was everything to squeeze a win out at the end there in that extra inning game with Harper hitting the dinger. They don't have Duvall right now. Well, he's healthy, but he's not pitching very well. They're running into the issue right now. The Giants are. I call it the Gabe syndrome. Gabe runs his pitchers to death. And this is the time of year. It happened all the time back here at this park. It was like best team in baseball for the first half of the season, maybe like 60 games in, and then and so they're going to have to run through this, but they've had a tough stretch. So I think the Giants get in, and I think the Reds are out.
Okay. Guess who the Giants? Guess who the Giants play right now? Guess who the Giants?
Reds this week.
The Reds, baby.
We'll be breaking it down on Tuesday because we do this show every single day. But
I know, but that's interesting though that we're talking about these two, and guess who plays each other?
I like it.
I love it.
I'm with you. Let's slap. Jackson said people were lobbying All-Star for Ellie. Todd Frazier was big on it too.
Wait.
What, me?
Wait,
okay. So
Okay.
let me ask you a question.
Don't get defensive.
I'm going to get defensive. Let's say you're a complete nothing player and you have an absolute breakout April and May or May and June. You never had an all-star game. You never were even a plus WAR player, a plus anything player, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you make the all-star team and you go 0 for 50 and get demoted. Should we go, oh, you're not good? See? Shouldn't have been the all-star team.
It's happened before.
The all-star voting has to do with the first half of the season.
It's happened before. It's happened. It's not the all-star game is about who has the all-star game is about who has the best first half. That's how you make the all-star game. If you're not super popular, voted in by the fans, who's having a great first half? I mean, there's a lot of guys
the
that
Reds
have great.
And Ellie De La Cruz had a great first
He
half.
had 50 at bats.
Yeah, he had like 76 at bats. Literally, I think it was 76.
Jordan Alvarez had like 50 more, and he was hurt. Oh, he has the track record. I'm just saying, I understood where people were coming from.
He was voted in by the fans, though. It's different.
If there was a chance, I think Ellie would have been voted in. People were
And
loving
he
it. I
would have
wasn't
done
the
what?
only person
No,
feeling
listen,
like
if you're
Ellie De La
voting
Cruz
for
was
fans-
stealing the show for a month and a half.
The all-star
in
game is a
MLB.
flawed process, okay? But if you're voted in by the fans, great. It's an exhibition game. But if you're going to be voted in by players or chosen by the managers, you better have a great first half.
And
Is it
Ellie
you-
was doing some Ellie was doing some cool stuff, but he's not
Yeah.
going to go to the All-Star game over somebody that had a good half and was elected in by whatever, the
like
coaches,
Perdomo
the
for the
players.
Diamondbacks.
But you got to have a player come in. Perdomo was having a great first half. Ellie's not going to show up. They're not going to put up the cage you see at the boardwalk, and they're like, "Here, congratulations! Here's your 3 balls. Throw it as hard as you can into the."
I think there's just an argument from people, and again, I'm just presenting a case here. Some people want to see the most exciting players, and that's where the perfect solution back.
By the
then
way,
would have
using
been-
your WAR, Perdomo's 2.5 WAR. I'm just saying.
that's great.
He's
The
been there
perfect
all year.
solution would have been Ellie in the home run derby, but he said no.
I don't think he could have handled it. That home run derby was.
Yeah, he had no chance.
It doesn't matter if he had a chance or not. Mookie Betts had no chance, but people just wanted to see that guy.
Fine. Then let him play in the home
In
run
Seattle.
derby. He doesn't need to be an all-star. Let him play in the home run derby.
You can
Great.
come and do that.
He could have come and done that, but he said no.
Did
remember?
they ask him?
They asked him. He said no.
They asked him
Okay,
for
I
the
thought-
derby.
I
He
thought
said
they asked
no.
him.
Yeah,
So it's Ellie's fault. It's not Scott's fault.
right. Exactly. It's Ellie's
I'm
fault.
glad,
He didn't want to
Ellie
be in the
wasn't there
derby.
because Scott wouldn't have been able to perform on our show.
he would
He would have been too busy following Ellie around.
Wow.
I'm not the biggest Ellie lover even on this very show.
Well, Todd loves his baseball card.
Yeah.
Todd loves him more than I
That
do.
doesn't count.
By the way, we might meet Ellie in person this month. Okay, ultimate
Great.
hint.
I
on
wish him. I
FT.
hope he
Just
does
throwing that
awesome.
out there.
I hope he does. Listen, I hope Ellie is awesome.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying we don't want Ellie to do well.
Nobody's saying that.
We're just
We're
saying
way
we're just
over
giving you
time.
facts and you hate it.
This is the longest slap hands ever. All I'm going to say is if we have more players with that skill set, the game will thrive. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear
Of
what you're
course.
saying.
That is a highlight reel skill set in a world that is so distracting that Kratz even forgot one of his statements today because he got something
Brad,
popping up on his
show
phone.
your Phillies hat.
Oh yeah, Kratz
Yeah, I
hats on the way out.
Nola wore it. Nola wore it yesterday for his ridiculous start. It's probably the best uniform in baseball, the cream Philly unis. They wear the blue and red hat.
FT Live back on Tuesday. I don't know, pick a ballpark. Should we go to Oakland? Nah, I'll probably be back in Florida. We'll see you then.